Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and we are your hosts. I'm CWall Waller, joined by Wole, and we're so happy to have you all here. You're still showing up to talk about the Commanders live, and we certainly appreciate it. This is a live Bowie TV recording. Wole's from the urban sports scene. Our folks, as always, thank you as always, Wole, for always your willingness to collaborate.
Oh, appreciate you.
And do this show as a collab. We certainly appreciate that. You all, we're gonna jump right on in. If you're on watching, whether it's YouTube, X, IG, Facebook, make sure you're subscribed to Bowie TV. Make sure you're subscribed to Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you're following on all platforms. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you like it so that it hits the algorithm. All that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
If you are in Prince George's County, Maryland, and you have not cut your cable, you can find Bowie TV on Comcast channels 190 and 1097. Wole, what did I miss in the housekeeping items?
Well, I think you pretty much hit everything. Make sure y'all on super chats. Super chats help us support these shows. So if you're in any of these any of our channels, Bowie TV, Urban Sports Scene, please hit us with a super chat. Just helps us keep this thing going. You know what I mean? Appreciate the support because you all have been rocking with us. So yeah, thanks again as always.
Yep, and we are. Yep. What's up? And we're at the end. We're at the end of of the season.
We're here.
It was all good a year ago, and
it was all good just a year ago.
It was just a year ago. It was all good, but I've been getting a lot of insight on just understanding certain things, which we won't necessarily, we probably will get into some of that. So it's not just from a team perspective, it's from a league perspective, because I get, there's other teams that are basically in the same boat, the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, where, it's a few teams, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, but they've been winning for a long time. But I guess still just the point of it was all good a year ago.
Sure
the Washington Commanders are not the only team that has it was all good a year ago kind of story line, but we still got to talk about the season. We still have to talk about where we are right now in the end here. And there was a game on Christmas Day. And so we played this game called What's Your One Word? So we're going to stay consistent.
Yeah.
We're going to stay consistent because consistency is what got us here. So what was your one word when the game ended on Christmas Day? The Dallas Cowboys yet again defeated the Washington Commanders. What was your one word at the end of that game?
Surprised.
Okay. All right. Talk a little bit about that. Well,
I was surprised that some of like the effort, I was bad mouthing Josh Johnson and the way he played admirably. I thought he played well. Surprised that Jer'Zhan Newton, who I've always thought highly of, so I'm glad he got this opportunity. But the 3 sacks, I was surprised at the effort by some for certain players. I was surprised. I'll say that I was surprised. Yeah, shocked. I think Santiago said the same thing. Shocked. I was shocked.
I mean, the fight is still there. The fight is still there. It's not, the fight is still there. So it's kind of like, and I don't know if others like myself, right? Bill, of course. And yeah, it was I think what is that George.
This George, yeah.
Said, okay, feeling okay.
Yeah. Then felt something. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some fighting. I mean, they go, hey, the effort was there. The effort was there. And it was actually a lot. I think somebody said close, right? It was a lot closer than I anticipated. When the game first started, I was like, all right, this is going to be another Vikings type of outing, right? Vikings versus Commanders. It definitely looked like that's where it was headed. And there were some adjustments made. on defense. We did see a bit more of the reliance on the run from an offense perspective. And to your point, Wole, yes, kudos to Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
Kudos to Josh Johnson. You know, when you get to your third string, you like
You're like,
no chance, right?
yeah,
Like, I mean, that's
yeah,
just the reality. In that one
yeah,
position, you're gonna say to yourself, no shot.
yeah,
And they had a shot, and this wasn't one of those games where Dallas was sitting their starters or sitting anybody. Like, they were
yeah.
playing football. And I don't know if folks watch. I always encourage, of course, watching the division, watching the other opponents across the schedule. But if folks just watch other teams play, in the spirit of who's playing, are you sitting your starters and all this, that, and the third. I mean, everybody, if you were healthy this past weekend, everybody was still playing. Like, everybody, I
Yeah.
don't know about the last in the year, especially for those teams that are headed to the playoffs, but everybody's still playing football. So and the Washington Commanders did as well. It would have been, of course, always nice if they would have pulled it off, and I think there were still some opportunities for them to pull it off.
Yeah.
Especially in the second half when Brandon Aubrey missed that field goal. And I said, okay, they got to score. They didn't. They went 3 and out. But but even still, I felt like, oh, they have a shot. Okay, all right, because I've been mostly just watching the game and taking my notes. Everybody,
Yeah.
to plan for the off season and all of that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
no issues there for me.
No, I'm like, for me, it's just, I mean, I have my expectations are quite low. So, I'm not looking at a game like that. I'm not looking for them to compete with a Dallas Cowboys team that were, like you said, are playing all their starters. And I had somebody on my show, from the Texas area, and he pretty much like broke down of what they Dallas wanted to win this game. They want to finish the season at 500. That's what the coaches and that's where the fans. They want to finish at 500. That's a goal. Like, they went through that game with the intent to win and try to set a tone for next season. Like, that's their goal. And Washington competed with that with their third string quarterback. So again, my expectations was low, and when it started, I was like, okay, this is what it is. Everybody get blown out. But the Commanders came back and made the game competitive. I mean, I do think there's a lot of issues. I'm gonna give. I think Cliff is off the hook for last week. Because again, you're moving the ball with your third string quarterback, so that should get compliments. So I'm not going, like, this week. I'm not going to get on Cliff because again, last week, I mean, you're going into this game with your third string quarterback. I don't care how bad the Cowboys defense is. This is your third string quarterback. He's not supposed to be moving up and down the field, and he did. You found a way to move. You found a way to move the football with him. The defense is a problem, regardless. That's just a problem. It's not just. It's the fluent. It's how easy teams are able to move up and down the football field is the problem. And whatever they have to do to get that situated, they're gonna have to do something. Because the defense is a big problem. And it's a consistent problem, and it just has to get situated. Because we're not gonna always create. You're not gonna always get turnovers. That's hard to do in the NFL. So many things have to go right for you to get turnovers all the time. But eventually you're gonna have to stop people. Like, you're just going to have to stop people eventually. And that, to me, is something that and then I'm not saying it's been slightly better than Joe Witt Jr., but it still is an issue. You see it, like, every team, they're able to move. And it's not a situation where they're getting stopped. They're moving quite easily. So, especially getting down it's hard for them to get off on third downs. There's so many different issues that they have, and they're giving up third and longs too. You know what I mean? Like, teams are getting first downs to third and long. So, I'm giving but individually, yeah, I think Jer'Zhan Newton, Bill, those type of dudes showed out, and they should get all the flowers. They really did play well. I'm super happy for Jer'Zhan Newton though, because he needed that. I was sick of getting like the tag of folks trying to call him a bust. I'm a firm believer in that. I wanted this dude to be the starting D tackle coming into the season. I did. I really wanted him to, because I knew that. I mean, we had Payne under contract, so I wanted Payne to be a starter. I'm not saying that, but That's why I was so surprised that we signed Kinlaw, because I was like, you just got this dude, the second round pick. This should be his opportunity to get some shine. And it's not a knock on Kinlaw. This is just how much respect and how much love and how much ability I think Jer'Zhan has. And I feel like he needs, as a young boy, he needs the reps to show his worth. I'm glad he got the opportunity to show folks that, you know what, I ain't no bust. I got 3 sacks as a D tackle in one game. That doesn't happen. Like, I'll be real with you. That rarely happens in the league. 3 sacks for a D tackle in a game. That just shows you the potential this kid definitely has.
I think that, and I see the comment there about Dak didn't expect the pressure. From a defense perspective, I think they only allowed 6 more points because they had already ran up the scoreboard. They were already at 24 at the half.
Yeah.
The Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
So they only allowed 6 more points. And to the point, I think from Santiago, was Dak didn't expect the pressure. You could visibly see Dak was frustrated in that second half. He was frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was very, very frustrated because some things had changed. And I'm always going to be I'm not going to always be critical. I'll be constructive criticism. Yeah. But one thing that I know that I end up seeing when I'm watching all of these games, I mean, everybody watched a terrific game last night.
That was a great game.
Between the 49ers and the Chicago Bears, and as many turnovers as the Chicago Bears have, they could not stop Brock Purdy. They just couldn't. Yeah. And vice versa. So I just think, and I've continued to say this, absolutely, you can't let everybody run the numbers up on you. However, if you're not able to score, you're just not going to win football games. Like, if you just cannot figure out the best way to score based on who you have available, it's just going to be hard. It's just going to be really, really.
And also, like, even that game, it showed too also that you got, in the flip side, you got to be able to stop people. Because the Bears, because the Bears, like, that was kind of, that game's ridiculous. The Bears, like 35, like, literally, you got to be able to stop somebody eventually. Like, and that's the thing.
I think that these high-powered offenses, like, that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
Like, they want to see the quarterback back and forth. And that's what it's to do, because at that point, and it's amazing as Robert Saleh is, he couldn't do anything to really stop Caleb. And I kept saying, I said, hey, if they had 1 more minute left on that clock, like, for real, you know, it could have gone either way, but it wasn't like, and it becomes this is when you have to start dissecting things, because everyone talks about Chicago's takeaways. I mean, they started the game with a pick 6. I mean, that's how they started.
They only had 1 takeaway, right? The one pick 6, and that was it, right?
And then CJ Gardner-Johnson, he had one, but I think they took it away.
They took it away, yeah, because they called a hold. He hands to the face. That was
exactly.
That was on him.
So it was this is how they started.
Yeah.
But that ain't how they gonna finish.
You know? You gotta, like, eventually, like, you go ahead. I'm sorry, Candi.
Yeah, well, no, they just, if you can't score, like, you're just gonna have to, like, above everything, you just gonna have to score. Even you because these are great defenses, these are great teams, but you just, if you cannot get your offense going, it's gonna be so hard.
You just gotta have an adequate, like, you have an adequate, I mean, a good offense. I'm gonna say you have a good offense, but you, like, for playoffs, I mean, regular season, but in the playoffs, you're going to, for what, in the long game, you're going, like, this is the reason why the Houston Texans, you talk about, your pops talks about the Houston Texans, right? There's a reason why that team is playing such good football. Like, nobody, they're almost unbeatable right now, because that defense and matching with a good offense.
Yeah, CJ's having a good year.
Yeah, like, combine that, like, you ain't, because you gotta be able to, they can go anywhere and beat a team. Like, that's what I'm saying. You gotta go. Like, when you got a defense like that, you can go anywhere. You can be on the road. It don't matter. You can be on the road, and you're going to be able to beat a team, because that defense carries. Like, I mean, I'm real with you. I don't know either of those teams, the Niners or the Niners or the Bears. And I like Caleb. Everybody knows I'm a Caleb dude. I don't know, like, I'm real. I don't know any of them that can go and really beat, like, Seattle, because Seattle to me is a mixture of both. Like, they play defense and they play offense. They play both.
But going back to that Seattle LA game.
Yeah.
And remember, and with the rant, I mean, once the offensive coordinators figure you out,
facts. That's a good point.
The offense is going to win your football game. Facts. Now, yes, I still believe defense wins championships, but we've been watching it.
Yeah,
it's like whoever win the coin toss or whoever. I mean, the coin toss, overtime, rules are different now.
Yeah, playoffs.
It's so difficult. And then even if I compared the Bills and the Eagles game, but the Bills had some player execution challenges, and here we go. Oh, here's Mom.
There you go. Hey, Mama Waller. There you go. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey, Mom.
How you doing? There you go.
And so when you talk about the Seahawks and the LA Rams, that Thursday night game, where after that the Rams fired their special teams coordinator.
Yeah, that was dumb. Yeah, they
were hot, and they nope. And so it's just you gotta watch it, right? And then you gotta see what everybody else is doing. Now going back to offense, let's pick another game. I'm gonna pick Ravens Green Bay.
Oh right? Man, props out
now you definitely see already a difference in their defense with Michael Parsons being down. One person.
Yeah.
Change the trajectory of one person. One impact player can change your whole dynamic.
Yeah.
And the reality is we just gonna let Derrick Henry run the football the whole game. Now, yes, they did some pass plays. But let's keep it a buck. Derrick Henry.
He won. King Henry won that game. That's what it is.
He won that game.
He won that game.
He won the game. And he's had, everybody knows he's had some challenges, fumbles, all that.
Yeah.
But hey, we gonna stick with this run, and we gonna stick with it and have the most carries of your career so far, sir. Go ahead and have a night, because we gotta live to see another week. Sometimes you gotta eat it, even as insane as it may be. It's like, listen, just do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. And I mean, these games, even with the defense, like I would tell anybody that last play, it probably was a PI, but being selfish, I'm like, hey, the Browns needed to win to give the Baltimore Ravens another week. You know what I'm saying? Give them.
Hey man, they don't deserve to win. Look, this is how I look at it, man. They don't. The Steelers don't deserve to win that game. They didn't deserve to win that game.
But I also will always say you can't pick. I'm naming a bunch of different games because you can't just pick one and say that's it. That's that. That's this.
Yeah, of course.
Because
everybody don't formula. Everybody don't formula.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it becomes people are going to figure you out. Now, what made even the Seahawks and the Rams game so impressive? I'll go back to that one. The Rams were winning 30-14. You gave them time.
That's the problem.
They figured you out. Figured you out, and here we go. And so it's just it's the constant. And you've also heard me say this. Sometimes the real matchup and the real battle is happening on the sidelines and in that booth. That's what's happening. You got to get a hold of it quick. You got to get a hold of it fast, because again, the 49ers got scored on first couple plays. You lose your left tackle. Trent Williams had to go out, and you got a pick six. They after us.
Trent got hurt. Trent was out the whole game.
Yep. He got hurt.
I didn't know that. Dang. They definitely showed. They ain't gonna win no more. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're gonna be shut.
He went out. He was on the sidelines. It was a hamstring.
Oh, he has a hammy too. Oh, I'm sorry, Niner fans. If y'all Niner fans, and FYI, anybody who knows how much Trent means, what Trent means to me as a Commanders fan.
That's absolutely no shade coming from Wole.
I love Trent, man. I love Trent, man. I'm so mad. I'm still mad Trent ain't a Redskin commander. I'm sorry. I'm so mad. But Niner fans, y'all show Trent ain't blocking your left side. Oh, Purdy about to be exposed. I'm letting y'all know that he about to be exposed. All right, I'm done now.
They did all right yesterday.
No, don't worry. Chicago.
But that goes back to people get infatuated with the takeaway number.
Yeah.
But that's just one piece of what comes through with your total defense. When you're talking total defense, they're still down at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
I think what ends up happening is that the one thing that the team you watch doesn't do You're like,
Yeah.
oh, we want
Yeah.
this guy. We want that guy. Whoa. Because you can get all the takeaways in the world and still lose football game. They just showed you that last night. You might want to think a little bit more about this.
I want to answer this. Kyle is a mad genius. You do know. I want you to know. You should look at the Niners' record without Trent Williams. It's very interesting. That's all. That's all I'll say.
It's a losing record.
It's not good without Trent.
I'll give you the number because they absolutely were talking. And I'm here. I wholeheartedly believe if that game had one more minute left, the Bears were going to win that football game. Definitely. And it was just a mistake. It's just the way it happened. It's just the way that it happened, but it wasn't for lack of trying.
Yeah.
They came ready to root. They came ready to rock. Yeah. And both teams.
Oh, that was a fantastic game, though. Real talk, that's a fantastic game.
Fantastic.
That was a great game.
Fantastic, but that's how you got to roll. And sometimes it's just going to be who still got the ball let's go back to the Lions Steelers game, right? Like sometimes it's just who got the ball when it strikes zero or whatever's happening. It's been some wild endings to games as well, but because we're going to get into some clips from last week and then just really dive in here because there's a lot to discuss on this topic. Because once I really got into, this isn't just the Washington Commanders that have been struck this year in terms of the expectation and what you had last year, right? There's all kinds of reasons. Like I said, the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings, hey, it doesn't matter what your season is. You either made the playoffs or you didn't. And you didn't, and you were in there last year.
You're going home with everybody else, man.
Number one seed. You're not any seed now. And then, you're no seed. And then Minnesota Vikings. But there's different reasons and different things that are attributed to each between losing both your coordinators, between quarterback injury, all of that. It all plays a part. And let's just be honest about this too. Strength of schedule is what it is. Yeah. And you not at your full strength when you playing some of these monsters. It's just like
you about to get that work.
You getting worked.
You don't get that work.
You're going to get worked.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen. And so, I've been using my clues and also just doing some deep diving and just talking to others across the league. Because you build those relationships. And I'm like, so, hey, what's the issue? What's your problem? What happened? What happened to y'all? Because anybody else who immediately talks to me, they speak nothing of this. They be like, dang, all those injuries y'all got. Oh, you thought y'all was still going to make the playoffs with all those? Like, they're shocked. Like, what? Are you sure about this? What? I don't think it's not like this season. The schedule is
this season was lower.
This season was bad. This season was rough for sure. And then you always have to mention, because I always say the Commanders last year, they were able to weigh on two very important things: good health and new team.
Yeah.
So people don't know what you're doing. And new coaching staff, new team, when you got new, when it's new, nobody knows.
Yeah.
There's no film on you. They really don't know. And that it works to your advantage. So we're seeing that now, right? Because you feel like the Denver Broncos are still fairly new. We know the New England Patriots are. The Chicago Bears are still fairly new, right? They got new head coach.
They're new.
Jacksonville Jaguars, they are new. That's new. You seeing Trevor Lawrence play some of the best football that he's played since he's been in the league.
Look at Sunshine do it.
You know what I mean? It's just, hey, hopefully it lasts. But we'll see. But it's so much data and just stuff that I'm just like, oh yeah. Because now it's like, okay, the eye test, the performance test, but now we got to get into the numbers because that helps make good decisions.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, let's go back to Josh Johnson, shall we? Because we have a clip we're going to start getting into clips. We have a clip from his after game presser last week Look, I used to do this thing where I would say love button and fire emojis. Seriously, love button and fire emojis for Josh Johnson. Like
Facts.
really on a short week on Christmas, you got to be the starter. Like after all of this, as if the Washington Commanders needed another injury. And I think I may have said this to you, Wole, when I was like, now, if Marcus get hurt, I'm going to just be like, just forget it. Because like, what are you going to do? It's just, so yes, hearts, love, buttons, fire emojis for Josh Johnson while I play this clip.
What started, Josh, what started clicking for you guys offensively as the game went on?
Just getting in a rhythm with each other. You know, the guys, you know, it's so much little things that go into it, from the way I call a play, you know, how I operate, you know, how I see things, you know, how they run routes in real time. We didn't really get a lot of full speed reps this week, being a short week. So as the game went on, you know, we just started playing football. I felt like we just started playing football out there. Cliff getting in the flow of how I process things and throw the ball. So, you know, all those things we had to discern, you know, as the game was going on. And, you know, I'm just grateful for everybody in this organization for supporting me this week in a tough situation. And, you know, it just hurts, man.
Oh, wow.
He was not happy. And to you all's point,
I didn't see that. It's the first time I've seen that. I don't think I didn't watch the post.
And,
that's
he kind of
wild.
cut the clip right before he was emotional.
Oh, wow.
He was emotional, and you know, you're like right there. Like it wasn't out of reach.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say. Like it wasn't. It wasn't. And you know, when I make comments like that, because now I'm dissecting the game in a different way, in a different lens, and I'm looking at every opportunity. Right, like everything. Like when Brandon Aubrey missed that field goal, I'm like, oh, the offense got to come out here and score. They don't score, they're in trouble. Okay, because this is your chance. You know, and that was an opportunity I think that potentially tied up. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, they could have tied it. I think
they could have tied it.
I think they could have tied. I'm not sure.
Right, they could have tied it. And then that was when I was in my mode of like almost what the Ravens did the other night, just run the football, just run. Why? Because you don't have a Michael Parsons running at you all crazy. So just run it. Make them stop it. If they can't, just keep running it. Sometimes you might get pulled back a couple yards. Sometimes you're going to roll with it. Christian McCaffrey had that kind of night too with the 49ers. I mean, they definitely passed the ball, but Christian, when you can, hey.
You give them rock. You give them the rock. That's the best player on the team. You're on the offense.
Make them stop it. We just going to run it because we already down bad anyway. So we just going to keep running. And when you can't get those touchdowns, when you can't get in the red zone, that's going to come back to bite you all the time. Because I thought the beginning of the game was an opportunity. Okay, well, you got to come out here and score a touchdown. They didn't. Especially after that Debo run.
Yeah.
Right. When any player, the Debo Samuel do something like that and knock a man's helmet off, you got to score a touchdown after stuff like that. Stuff like that, you have got to score a touchdown. A field goal is just not going to get it because you got to have some swag about you. You got to let somebody know, hey, look over here, just literally, he just bum rushed you. Do you remember? I made a joke back in OTAs when the first time I saw Debo in person, and I said I wouldn't tackle him. Y'all just had to talk about me. Cut me. I'm not tackling Debo Samuel. This is not worth the juice. Is not worth the squeeze to me. And he made an example out of somebody.
Oh, he sure did. I mean, yeah. Folks got made example. I ain't gonna lie. Folks got made examples of in that game. I obviously folks know I'm a Michigan fan. And, you know, I love Mikey. Oh, Mikey. Oh, poor Mikey.
But hey, Debo said you got my boy. You did my boy dirty. Watch this. So you like, hey, you did my boy dirty. Watch what I did. Watch this.
Yeah,
this can go both ways.
It can, man. Shout out, man. Shout out to Debo, man. Appreciate you, man.
It's like you do my boy like that.
My feelings were hurt. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. My feelings was hurt.
And that was on the first series. That was
I know. I was like, I was like,
You
dang.
don't got them back though. I mean, not the same person, but you get,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
we got some of this over here too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got
Santiago
a
like
little
you.
bit of spice over here too.
Yeah. Santiago, like we're making a business decision.
I'm
Definitely.
not doing it. I said it back in May. I was like, that's hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not really like that. I wouldn't like that. That's too difficult. But at any rate, now I'm going to play Dan Quinn's opening statement from his press conference after the game. It's about 2 minutes long, but while you all are listening to it, definitely drop in the chat your thoughts and any questions you have about what he's saying, and then we'll just keep going into clips because we're bringing up some important points because we still got one more game we do have to talk about, and then there's some other stuff we need to talk about too, and we'll get into that after this clip.
Still postseason to talk about those. We have to learn. Thank you. We have to learn and grow from this. The lessons that go into it, they're incredible. I'll give you two examples that came to mind. The Debo play in the first series for the pass was 40 yards. That was one of my favorite plays by him this year, and he's had a lot that I liked. It absolutely lit us up, and we get inside the 5-yard line, and we have to kick a field goal. Defensively, the one that comes to mind is the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 16. We allowed 14. We, then allowed a conversion on a 4th and 2. At that point, it's 20-27, like right into the battle of it. So created some negative plays on 2nd down, and you're like, shit. So those are the winning time moments that I'm talking about. Looking at the game, there were, things that certainly I liked, like for Bill Croskey-Merritt to have a long run, like that's hard to do that distance. You see long runs, but not that long by running backs. Then defensively, I just had a moment with Jer'Zhan Newton. I thought he was disruptive, wreaked some havoc in his space to go, and so those were some things that stood out to me. Coming into the game, it was going to be important for Josh Johnson taking care of the ball, that we could extend some drives to keep their offense off. I thought he did a good job of that. It was just the opposite, where they had the time of possession and converting the 3rd downs, especially in the first half. You guys, that was, I thought, just a big deal. So wasn't surprised we fought back. The 3rd downs were much better defensively in the second half. The fourths weren't to the standard that you want all the game. But that was my message. That was what I wanted to get across to them. Love our fight, but the execution, just isn't to the standard that needs to be to win the games. And give credit to Dallas. I'm not taking away from Dak and offensively, any of them. They're not the point. So that's where I'm at, and I wanted to kind of share some of my messages with you, with the team, and where we're at.
Now, I did see Coach Quinn go to Jer'Zhan Newton, and he was very, 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 very happy for Johnny. To your point earlier, it's I'm in a space now where it's like, okay, what does it mean to be the starter versus what does it mean to have depth such that if the starter is out, you don't miss a beat? What does that look like? Right? If we go back to the Miami game in Madrid, that was the game I thought I was going to see last Thursday from Johnny. And it wasn't, because he was the starter. He was a game day captain. Remember, that was the game that Duran was suspended. But it wasn't. Okay. End of sentence. At the same token, this is where it counts, because now you got another now you got to start. Duran is injured. You got another opportunity to start. You are no longer depth. You're no longer a depth piece, because he's been out there. Johnny's been playing.
Yeah, he's been playing.
Yeah. So didn't see all that I thought I was in Madrid for many people, but we're specifically talking about Johnny. So, okay. But last week I was like, okay, and now there it is. There it is. Because essentially, right, you don't want to see a huge dip from starter to depth. Now, if you are performing better than the starter, and now the starter becomes depth, that's fine too. But it also comes with a consistency that needs to be seen. And I think Yeah. Now is the time because Johnny was definitely a player that played all of the preseason.
Yeah.
Sure. And so yes, he had a great game, but in my notes, I'm sitting here, I'm looking, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine, that's great, because that's what you were drafted to do, literally. So it's like, all right, good, very good. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. And I was glad to see Coach go over and talk to him and embrace him. And just, Coach was pleased. He was very, very pleased. So I thought that was important point to bring up, since he did bring up Johnny, in that we've been talking about Josh Johnson. We did talk about, some of the differences. We've already talked about already some of the differences in the first half to the second half. To your point earlier, not being able to get off the field on third down, that's the problem. And then it was some moments where it wasn't. I mean, it was like you already knew what Dak was going to do, right? You know what I mean? You already knew, like, okay, all right, he's about to go down the field to Cavante Turpin. All right, he's about to do that. Okay, cool. But what was frustrating to watch were the penalties on third down.
Yeah.
It was the unnecessary penalties.
Oh yeah, I got one to talk about. I got to do talk about.
And that's on both, because there were some opportunities even still late on offense, and I think Brandon Coleman got a false start penalty late. Now you got to come off the field, and so those really hurt when it's like, ooh.
You want to talk about penalties? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to talk about penalties?
I'm trying to think. We don't have anything specific to penalties. No clip specific to penalties.
Okay.
Talk about penalties.
All right, I can talk about one that really annoyed me. I'm still kind of. I've been trying to like.
Was it a real penalty, or was it something that wasn't?
He shouldn't have done it, because I watched it in slow motion. Like he had time to do it. Yeah, Frankie Lou's penalty really annoyed me, and I watched it in real time. I slowed it down, like because Vaughn got a sack. I know people are like, that's a tough one. It really isn't that tough, because Vaughn tripped him down. He had time to diagnose it. Like he really had time to diagnose it.
He could have ran past them. I don't know if he could have ran past them. I don't know. And that's, a lot of people, where was I when they were talking to Frankie after the game?
What was his thought?
I wasn't over there. That's why I'm being like really transparent. Lou Felix was over there. They were over there. I didn't get a chance to ask them, what did Frankie say? I know somebody asked them.
Of course.
But I was over there by the offensive lineman. When they were over there, I was over there by the offensive lineman at that time, because they the injury bug done hit them. And so it was in the moment I said exactly what you just said. And then I was just like, did he not know the play was dead? Like, did he not know?
It's not. It's the thing about it is, like, even to be real with you, this is why it kind of annoyed me. Because even if he didn't know it was over, like, knowing that how they rough quarterbacks, he didn't even, like, truth be told, he could have just shoved him down. He didn't even have to even do all that, and they wouldn't even call it for real. Like, the way he tackled, it's the way he tackled him after it. And truth be told, he had time to see it. Because I watched, he had time to see it. This is what my thing about Frankie Lou so far has been, and it's a lack of it's a lack of discipline in this element to me with Frankie Lou at the moment. Last season, he had some issues with it, but it doesn't. When you're making plays, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? When you make plays, people will ignore it. To be real with you, they will ignore it. Now, when your defense is struggling and you kind of have this lack of discipline at times, in terms of like plays like that, it's come up a few times this season, but now your play doesn't match it. Now it's starting to be a hindrance to a point where he's going to have in the offseason. I'm not saying I'm not the person to get rid of somebody, but he's going to really have to be in the offseason, really have to find a way to channel his discipline. Or somebody had to check him. It's either this, that, and the other. Because watching that play against the Cowboys, because Von Miller made a fantastic play. That's what bothers me. Like, Von Miller made a fantastic play. And then you got a dude who is like not really thinking of the moment, like, and kind of wipes it off. That was third down and a sack for Von Miller. Like, what are you like, stuff like that? Like, and I'm being bluntly honest with you. These are it depends on who you are as a coach. And I'm not knocking Quinn, but Bill Belichick, if he did that with Bill Belichick, he'd be on the bench. He would be on the bench. Bill Belichick bench his best players. He would be on the bench for doing something like that. So I just think Frankie I know Frankie is like we look. I appreciate his hard work because I think dude does play hard. Like he does play hard. He got to channel it, man. He got to channel it because you ain't channeling it, you're hurting the defense. You're not helping the defense. You're hurting the defense.
Yeah, and and so this is along the lines of, and at this point, all of the games are running together where it's been a few moments, to your point, where there were just unnecessary penalties on third down. I mean, they were completely unnecessary.
I'm saying.
And it killed the momentum on the drive defensively because they were going off the field, and here comes a flag. And unfortunately, most of these that we're talking about on these third downs, they aren't on. They're kind of questionable. You go back and be like, dang. Right, and you're kind of just hoping for the officials to do the Commanders a solid, but that's just not going to happen. Not this season, right? So it's a thing. There have been moments where the drive has been prolonged. They made the stop.
Yeah,
it was too much of use of the hands, which you go back and look at it and you be like, yeah, you didn't have to do all of that. Like, where's that coming from? Or it's just a lot. And it becomes you talk about it, you deal with it. They're aware, and we're going to get into a very real life. They were aware because it came up today in the press conference.
It did?
Absolutely. Not this one. Something else that happened.
Got you.
And so, because there's oftentimes, now going specifically, it's the unnecessary penalties as a whole, which people had the conversations. They talk about it. Oh, coach, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh, that's on me. My bad. I'm sorry. Da, 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 da. Yeah. But then what are you going to do other than get benched or released? And you can't release everybody.
You can't release anybody. I'm like,
you know what I'm saying?
Bench them, though. You can't bench folks.
It's kind of like, but you can't bench folks, and that has happened.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
we're gonna get to that. That has happened this season. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're not seeing certain people out there." I can tell you why they went out there for that series or that drive or whatever, because they messed up. It's their assignment. Player execution has not been good. And unnecessary penalties on third down it's a thing. It's a thing. And then if you go specifically to Frankie, there was moments Frankie's there. He's there. He just missed the tackle, or and I'm like, is he just so excited? Like, what is that? What is it? Just so I don't know, because he's right there. I mean, there was something that he was right there. He was right there at Dak, and he just like ran by him.
And he did that again. He did that in Madrid too.
Yeah, he does that. He does that very often. He's been doing that all season. Like when he's right there and he flies over and he just completely misses the person, misses the whole tackle.
I know. I don't believe with him. Like, I'm not like everybody. Like, with him, I don't have an issue with I have an issue with it, but it's not thorough to me in terms of when he misses on plays, because I feel like that's like, all right, like you're just missing on plays. I just really
happens a lot.
Yeah, which happens a lot. I just have an issue with things that you could control. Like, I do have an issue with that. Like, I do have an issue like that. To me, it's a lack of that's a lack of self-discipline. Like, to be real with you.
Yeah, and
that's a problem, because that hinders, because to your, like we talked about that, to that play, your man made a fantastic
Von
play.
Miller. Everybody's been dragging Von Miller.
Yeah,
I'm tired of the drags. I'm tired of the drags, because
that's why it pisses me off.
These folks are making plays.
Yeah, like Von made a vicious,
they get missed because of stuff like this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where my issue is. Like, your teammate made a fantastic play. Like, for real. Like, if you're aware and watching what's going on, like that, Von got to him. I mean, I think everybody saw he got to him. Period. And the truth be told, and not to even lie to you, truth be told, if they didn't aware, if they said that he was up, you can review that anyway. Like, so, like, that would be stopped anyway. It's just a lot to me looking at that situation. I was like, that annoyed the bejesus out of me. I'm like, Von made a fantastic play. I'm watching in real time. Von got him. And then I'm looking, and I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as he tackled, I said the referee gonna throw the flag. I didn't even hesitate. As soon as he tackled him, I like that's a. I said late hit. So
I was like, oh,
yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So I don't look. To me, he's got to be like I feel like for him, you got to make sure it's either you sit him down and say, Frankie, we can't do this no more. Like not like you gotta sit with me and we're gonna take your snaps away. Not like bench it, take your snaps away. So somebody you gotta learn from it. Like you gotta learn from it. Because if I keep putting you out there, and giving you the same amount of reps, you gonna think it's right all the time. Like
I think the more interesting thing is that wasn't something that we all saw from him last season.
That's yeah.
And so that's why it's like, okay, everybody, let's when we talk about using your clues, when I say use your clues and everything, it's like let's talk about what is a consistent issue versus this is a new thing because you didn't have that problem. You were ready to roll.
Yeah,
he didn't have. Frankie was just being a nuisance out there. He was being a monster out there. It was not everything that we're talking about did not happen last season.
I would say this. I think he did. He had a few late hits last season, but it wouldn't. I'll say this much: it don't matter when you making plays, though.
No, but I don't think
plays,
even with late hits, he wasn't doing all. It wasn't like this.
Okay. I was at the Eagles game. I'm thinking the Eagles game. Like he had a couple of
the touch pushes. Now it's like
not that one. Not even that one. That was funny. But even that one before that, like even the Eagles game, he had I don't have an issue. Like when you met, this is my belief in sports. Period. I ain't gonna lie to you, and I'm that person. Like when you making plays, I'll tolerate anything.
Yeah.
So I won't even tell you. I'll tolerate anything.
You were there, but something like what you're describing in this game, he did not do things like that last year. And you've seen things like what happened on Christmas Day, and that moment happened more this year. That's happened a lot actually this year.
It's happened a lot. It's happened a lot this year.
And that I'm talking about that caliber. That didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Year, he did Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but that was a hit.
I tolerate. I get it. Like to me personally, I just think that he needs to like understand his surroundings. That's all. Like that's all I care about.
I don't even
understand surroundings.
It's just what's the difference in last year and this year?
I mean, for me, I ain't gonna lie to you, Candy. For me personally, I'm gonna be real with you. I think he has reckless ability. Personally, I do think.
Yeah, you arrived violently.
Yeah, but I think at times like he don't like he rides violently. But I just feel like the difference between this year and last year is that he's not making plays. That's where it is to me. Like I feel like we tolerate, for instance, like somebody get beat, but they get beat, but they make plays thoroughly, right? You're going to ignore a lot of them getting beat. Like, all right, I'll use the Eagles as an example. I use Jalen Hurts as a prime example for my man coach, who's an Eagles fan. I could tell when they're winning games, no one really breaks down his bad throwing games thoroughly. But when they lose them games, and them bad throwing games start, and they lose more, and them bad throwing games are still there, they mention it a lot more with Jalen Hurts. Then it's like he ain't a good quarterback. He ain't this. He ain't that. But when he winning games, no one brings it up. No one says anything. They don't say that.
I think that's just normal. I think we're literally seeing Frankie do things that he didn't do. Like he wasn't just like running past players. Like
no. You're saying running past players. I'm not saying that part.
Yeah,
I'm saying the late hits happened. I'm talking about late hits happened last year to me. To me, they happened last year.
Because I didn't see him. I mean, maybe there was like one or two, but he does stuff every game.
Yeah, you talking about like this year?
It's a late hit. It's several missed tackles.
Yeah.
You were right there and you did nothing. There's been instances where it's like, what was Frankie doing just now? Literally in every game.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with it.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Where it's like, what was that? And even if you made up for it, I just don't remember it being this consistently, especially through December. Like by the time they got into December football, they were in a groove. Of course, yes, they were winning, but they were in a groove too, you know. And it's like you've been
Yeah.
making these kind of mistakes. Let's be clear. 4th and 1 against the Bengals Monday Night Football in preseason, he did something like that to Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah. He's been.
That's why I'm like, wait. I think we may be saying something. We're saying the same thing, but maybe differently. Where you were doing stuff like this in August, it's December, and you've been doing this all season long.
I'm saying he needs to be like. I'm saying he needs to be at this point in time. He needs to like as a football player. Just like all the great football players. I'm talking about guys who the elite ones. When they got to a point, Harrison, who played for the it's Harrison. I think it's Harrison. I might be tripping. Who's played for the Steelers. He had to check himself in terms of how he used to hit certain people because he didn't want to keep punishing his team, and they were winning football games. So like he's gonna have to eventually check himself emotionally, so this doesn't hinder like drives, like getting off on 3rd down. Like you gotta be better.
He had a bad one. Noah Igbenogany had a bad one.
Yeah, no one is like no one's getting torched.
Revo had one, but that was a little questionable.
Revo was questionable. That was a bad call.
Yeah, so it seems to be 3rd down, and the play was made.
Yeah.
You know, I think I saw George mention one from last week from the Eagles game when, you know, Will Harris Dallas Goddard. Like you're on 3rd down, you're getting off the field. The play has been made. And I think
that was Coach said that. Yeah.
Right. And I think because of those moments too, it's hard to see where they did make the play. The play was there. They made the play, but because of those unnecessary penalties, which then still leads to undisciplined, which is still like, but y'all wasn't doing that last year. So
they weren't doing that as a whole last year. They weren't doing it as a whole.
They were not. They were not. And that's why I'm like, we got to think about this in a different way. We got to think about it from a body of work perspective. They were not doing this in December last year. Winning or not, they just weren't doing that, and it's looking a little off. So let's get to. There is a game still on Sunday, 4:25 Eastern, Lincoln Financial Field, the Commanders season finale. Marcus Mariota, whatever how you say his name, we're just gonna say Marcus because I'm tired of saying it already. Mariota is. He might play, he might not. I don't think he did walkthroughs today. So let's get into these clips because we have a clip on what Coach Quinn said about Marcus, what he said about Laramie, a couple other players as well that I think are important points as the Commanders prepare for their season finale.
Hey, Dan, if Marcus can't go on Sunday, how do you see the quarterback situation playing out?
Yeah, we'd lean and start with Josh again, Scott. And then as far as behind him, we'll just still discuss that between Sam and with Jeff. But if Marcus couldn't, then we'd lean in with Josh again. And there was honestly a lot that I liked in the game. I know it was a short week, but the preparation of what and how we featured him, I thought was the right space. And, you know, like from a decision-making process, I thought, Josh did a lot of things correct that I liked. So we would lean in that way again for sure if Marcus can't.
And here was Coach talking about Laramie Tunsil and a couple of the other injured guys.
I was also going to ask kind of in that same vein about Laramie and I guess just other guys in that spot. Are you at a point now where if they have some sort of nicks and bruises that you lean towards holding them out, maybe earlier in the season you would have pushed them to go, that sort of thing?
Good question, Tom. That part for him, and he's got strength going straight ahead this oblique. It's the turning and torquing to go. So until that comes, fully around with Laramie, then we'll have a better answer for that. As it sat today, he wouldn't be able to, do that. Everything with your oblique is all about the rotation and the power that comes from that. So like I said, the health, it does come into effect, but if it's something that a guy can play and play well, then I think that would be different.
So those are just injury updates. I think kind of the same as Coach Quinn was asked about Deron Payne as well from Tashawn Reed from the Washington Post. So it's all kind of like the same thing. So I do want to backtrack one because it did come up. So it's kind of out of what I was going to do. But let's go ahead and go here because I was gonna like throw some positives in here. Because there was some positive things to say. You've already talked about like, some of the
Josh
players.
Johnson, yeah, definitely.
But Quan Martin did get benched.
Oh,
and he, the benching kind of started in Madrid against Miami, and you've seen less and less snaps since then. Matter of fact, hold that thought. I'm going to go to the positives. We're going to go to what the agenda says. So we're going to go to the positives. Because our girl Donna Hopkins asked Coach Quinn about this year's draft picks. I think we're gonna get into that after the season 2, right? Because I talked about evaluations. A lot of people do draft grades right after the draft, and I've been like, why? They've not performed. Nobody's done anything. Why do you want to grade it now? I mean, that's cool, but hey, with my background, I'm like, nah, I need to see what you do first, and then we're gonna do grades. And it's probably justifiable to do grades on even last year as well. And so there's some positives. There are some positives on this year's draft class. Donna asked Coach Quinn about that today, so check out his response.
And for your younger players this year that you drafted, Bill, some of those other Connolly and all of them, have you seen them grow? Have they surprised you in any way this year?
I thought with Jalen, I thought coming in, I knew the return skills were going to be good. But I thought, quite honestly, after being with him every day and watching him catch punts, I thought they were exceptional. His ability to track it, his ability to make somebody miss. And so in a season on punt returns, you don't get 50 chances, at returns generally. The punters who are good can angle and direct it to go. But I thought he had really shown real moxie as a returner. This is not the easiest place, outdoors and wind and everything that goes with the punt returns. So he's been somebody that's impressed. Certainly Bill has, right from the beginning. There was always a moment or two in training camp early on, the cut, the explosiveness. And so to see a 70-yard run, that just doesn't happen very often in our league. And so it showed the speed that he's capable of. So certainly pleased with that. Trey, I would say, exceeded my expectations in some regards just by his ability to compete right from the very beginning, Donna. Patience at the line of scrimmage, always in control. And I thought you could really tell like he really put a lot of work in to earn the starting job. And then Josh coming in on the same space, I thought he's gained a lot of experience. He's been a better run blocker than I thought, even coming out of Oregon. I knew he'd have the athleticism to pass protect because he could change direction. But if you look at like the long reverse play to Debo or, the combination run on the one to Bill, he was right in the middle of some of these key blocks. I think that's something that will continue to get better as it goes. So with more strength and experience and size. I'm trying to think who I'd left out, but I've been pleased with the class. They're a mature group and ready to work. And so that part, having meaningful roles as rookies, that's a big deal.
Very, very big deal. Very, very big deal that I don't want people to lose sight of. So when you say the young guys are playing, yeah, they are. They actually have rookies playing, and they actually had players who were rookies last year that were playing. Now, some of them may not be playing for various reasons, injury included and all of those things. But this draft class, and the one that he was missing was Kane Medrano. And, Kane is getting more. He's getting that opportunity on teams. And you definitely see, absolutely. And that's where he should, right? That's exactly where he should be. And he's doing all the things he should be. But I don't want this damper of a season to, take away from this rookie class. There was only 5 of them. But they, to your point earlier, they should get their flowers. Yeah. These men, they did a dag-on good job. I would like to cuss, but my mama watching.
Yeah, don't cuss my mama Waller in here. Don't do that.
Mama Waller. They are legit. They're legit, and we'll see what they'll do again next year. But It was impressive. It was super impressive. I really like that Coach Quinn brought up Jalen first, because I was like, Jalen for me was probably, I knew his skill set, I knew his specialty in punt return, but like you said, you don't get to see it. So it was some muff punts and things happening earlier in the season, and I was like, but you ended up seeing them. You ended up seeing exactly why they drafted him and what makes him special. Josh Connolly Jr., can't say enough about him, right? Cannot say enough. It was a lot of negativity around him during training camp, and I was like, do not listen to it. It is not true. He will get better. Don't. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And it's fine. As everybody can see, Trey Amos.
He's a beast.
A beast. And yes, Mama Waller is chiming in. Don't walk around Mama Waller.
I'm looking out Mama Waller. I see it. I got it. I'm gonna stop her, Mama Waller. I'm gonna stop her. You got it.
And Bill, 7th rounder. And so those are, I know everybody wants to stay in the negative space, and there's plenty of reasons why we should, everybody should. So it's doesn't mean, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know why. I think the narrative about AP's draft classes haven't been that good so far. I think this year's class makes up for that, for one. I think last year's class, one got released. Javonte is injured. You saw Luke kind of start to bud. Ben Sinnott was part of, you didn't see much, but you're starting to see it, and he was part of the depth. At some point, he was going to have to get there, and now he's going to have to get there. It is what it is. And so I think that I don't want it. I feel like there's too much negativity, that the things that have gone right, or the things that you can say, okay, that worked. Okay, that's working. Okay. I think, Jaden's been injured. I think Mikey Sanders still was out of position, because when you seen him back to where he was last year, which was working for him, you've seen better, right? Everything can be improved, but you have definitely seen better. So had he just started where he was last year, where would he be by now? But that's a conversation for another day. We don't know. But Jordan McGee, how did I forget Jordan? Is, Johnny, you see, so now it's kind of like, we can do the evaluation on last year and on this year, but I'm not getting the sense now. Because I'm going by the eye test and the performance test. You got to look at the numbers. What do you do with the opportunities that you have when you get them? And some of those numbers aren't adding up to, these have been complete misses, because they haven't been.
No, actually, it's funny, because I'm gonna be real. Like I was starting to question Adam Peters' draft.
Sure.
His drafting. I was starting to. But then when I went back, sometimes I like to go back and I start to think. And this draft class has been like a hit for him. It has been a hit. Though I have questions about getting players at certain spots, but in terms of productivity and talent and playing, how they played this season, it's a good grade for me. To be honest, now it's not get. In terms of individual talent, now how that comes to winning football games is a whole different whatever. But individual talent, it's graded well for me. And then going last year, even last year ain't that bad to me. Now I think about,
you got to really think about it.
Like other than like I don't. All right, so when I grade draft picks, I don't worry about the 6th round pick. To be honest with you, I don't worry about him. Like the kid that got cut, like he's not. He doesn't matter to me, not to be mean. Like he doesn't matter to me. Like, because those are projects, those are special teamers. They're not really supposed to be starters. Like just like Kay Madrano, I don't rate Kay Madrano because he's supposed to be a special teamer, or he can get cut. That's typically what happens when you're in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick. Your fourth, third, second, and first are supposed to be guys that typically that you hope to be starters. Be real with you. So when I look at last year's draft, you got Brandon Coleman, who I think could be a starter, and I liked him last year, and I think to me, he could be a right tackle starter if you wanted him to be, and he ain't. But it's okay. You got Connolly, and I get it. we're talking about
But you
obviously
feel really
jaded.
good, not to interrupt, but you really feel good about that depth piece.
Yeah,
Stuff.
yeah.
So I want to
of
start
course.
getting into that because it's like we got to really start looking hard at and see if we're using our clues on what they're doing at the depth. Because if they're doing what I think they're doing, it's smart.
But even that,
so,
But with that though, right? Brandon Coleman, where he was drafted at, could be a depth piece. He ended up being a starter for you. So that to me was why it's a win.
That's just how it happened, right?
Yeah, that just win. Mikey in the second round, regardless, like he had some struggle in his second year, but he still like even his struggles, he had like 4 interceptions or whatever. So so even as a struggle, you got Mikey, Jaden. Then Ben Sinnott is starting to show you some production.
You can see
so
it.
you're getting like it's not as bad as I once thought it was. It's actually better than what I thought it was. So and even Baptiste is I think it was a 7th round pick, and became a starter and helped you in party rotation. So I'm not in a place to say that that draft class was bad. And coach, you're saying Coleman got exposed. I will flip it on you and say Coleman started playing slightly different when he got hurt. He was playing hurt. When he was healthy, you look at Brandon Coleman when he played against Myles Garrett and prior early in the season before he got hurt. You look at film before he got hurt, then come back to me and say he was exposed. He started struggling when he got hurt. That's what happened with Brandon Coleman. It wasn't that he was exposed. He struggled when he got hurt. But so even looking at that, when you look at him, it's an impressive draft class. It is like his body of work isn't bad. I don't have an issue with a body of work. I actually don't have an issue with a body of work.
You can't.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just go, you already know what his pedigree is type of. I was like, if the 49ers, I mean, you said Trent Williams is out, so you don't think they're gonna go far, the 49ers without Trent Williams.
They're gonna be out.
Miraculously able to come back and they end up winning the Super Bowl somehow or getting back there. I'm like, does Adam Peters get a ring? Because much of that depth over there in San Francisco. Are they gonna send him a ring? I'm joking.
He's under Lynch. That's Lynch. I mean, Lynch is the GM, but yeah, I mean,
but that's who is.
He's part of the family. Definitely, he's part of this. He's part of the family. He definitely was one of the main dudes. I mean, he's been around. Like he should know talent. He's been around great football minds. He's been around Coach Belichick, and he's been around John Lynch and that organization. So. He should even being around Kyle Shanahan is something special because that's a genius in terms of knowing talent and knowing who can do what in a system. So he's been around. He's definitely, everybody has their own. I have like issues of how he does business at times. Personally, like the way from afar, I don't like I have a thought process of how he does business. But as like picking in the draft, I don't have an issue with it. I have an issue with free agents. My issue more has come more with free agent, how he goes after free agency, how he attacks free agency more than the draft. The draft, I'm cool with how he handles the draft.
It's been, and I'm not sure. I think the record, and that's why I do what I do, right? And this is how I do what I do. It's like no, we can't just throw it all away like it's nothing because they only won 4 games. You know what I mean? And so,
my nephew. All right.
But you can.
All right, boy.
It's year 2 of a recalibration. They surged last year, fantastic. But you're really not gonna know what you have. And actually, shout out to Darrell, who's also with Bowie TV and Legacy Maker Sports.
And Darrell is like that.
Yeah, Darrell is like that. If y'all look at our pictures and the video content, all of that he does for Bowie TV. We even went to quarterback. This is just a thing when you talk about evaluation of positions. You're really looking at some point, there are teams and there are players in the league right now that they sat behind the starter who was a veteran for like at least 2 years, right? Or a year or 2, they had to come in because somebody got hurt or something happened or whatever the case may be. And this is what happens when you do live.
Sorry, I got more nieces. I'm sorry, more nieces. Come on, Shasha. You say I got my. I can't diss my nieces. I can't diss my family.
Yeah, you gotta say hi to all the family members.
All right, y'all.
And so it definitely is one of those things where I'm not evaluating right after the draft because nobody's done anything for me to evaluate. So I'm going to look after their first year. I'm going to look after their second year, and then their third year tells you what it is. When they're nearing the end of their rookie deal, if they're still around, that's what it is. Yes, everybody loves Uncle Wole. He's a cool uncle, and so that's kind of how it is. But once they get toward the end of their rookie deal, you're gonna know, right? You're gonna know one way or another. And I definitely think that because I think the record has made everybody judge everything too hard. Like, wait,
obviously,
because
I'm one of them. I'm one of them. But go ahead.
What do they call it? Like the prisoner of the moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're a prisoner of the moment. And, it's all bad. It's all sucks. And it's like, no, everybody breathe, stay calm. Because we haven't even, and we won't get into the injury impact analysis that I have been doing, which, hey, I like it when I do research and even some of my own hypotheses and assumptions are refuted based on the numbers. So that's going to be a fun exercise when we do that when the season is officially over. But going back to the draft class, this is we were being a little too hard on AP in that draft class. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, I definitely was. I was one of them. I'm respecting it. I'm respecting it a lot more nowadays. Not like after looking at it. Use your clues. AP said last year, you're not collecting talent. You're building a team.
That's right.
Ask yourself if you really understand the difference.
That's right. That's right. Because when you really take a look at it, and I love that comment, and
I love it, man.
Using your clues and bringing up the receipts.
I love it.
That's what it is. You got to bring up the receipts because when you think about it, you bring in Laramie Tunsil, right? Look at what just happened. Injuries are happening. Brandon Coleman's got to come in. Now everybody's like, oh, well, I don't know what happened with left guard. Well, to put it quite frankly, he lost his job, right? He lost the starting role to Chris Paul. He didn't get it back. It is what it is. But that doesn't mean that he's not still valuable. Obviously, he absolutely is.
Oh,
and him come in and do multiple roles because that is the kind of depth that you need. Going back to, not only are we going to get into the injury impact analysis once the season is over, we're going to really get into the starter depth thing. Because sometimes when we're going to get into some more things, it's like, okay, depth starts to play really, really well. And all of a sudden it's like, make them the starter. And you could, but that doesn't mean you don't get rid of the former starter. They're still a part of key depth, i.e. Brandon Coleman, Chris Paul. Like, you still need these players, and it's still part of building a team. Because when you sit back and look at what they did at offensive line, now the season didn't end up like it, like everybody had hoped. But when you look at it, actually, it looks pretty daggone smart. You'd be like, that's smart. Goes back to using your clues, and we're not just picking up talent. We're building a team. Quote from Adam Peters that Cedric pulled up. Key. That's what we love around here. When you're using your yes,
definitely.
Everybody's learning. We're learning. Learning is fun. And I'm genuinely excited. Let me calm down. Okay, I'm going to play some clips now. This is where the conversation goes back to getting a little tight. Getting a little tight because we're going to switch back to the negative stuff.
Okay.
I think it's important. So let's just dive into the clips and let's just keep talking.
Hey, Dan. With regard to the fundamental errors, are you seeing physical, mental combination, and is one more vexing than the other?
Yeah, the mental one's more vexing for sure. Like when they, like a technique where like it calls for a certain coverage, a certain check, a certain route, a certain split. Those are the ones for sure that you want to make sure, okay, that part is eliminated. The physical ones, when you're playing a good technique and you get beat, I can live with that. And I showed that to a certain degree today. In the game, we say, okay, we're going to double this player, and if it goes somewhere else, we can live with that, knowing that like the featured player, the design of it wasn't there. Those are ones, as a coach, you can say, all right, by design, they hit to the right person. The ones where you allow, a free runner on a blitz or a, conversion where you didn't, match the right way, those are the ones that are particularly costly for us. So that's what I wanted to work on, and I'll continue to shrink until I find that right balance to say, hey, this is the most important thing that we need to do, in this game to go win it. But there's a little bit of a balance of both for sure.
Which we could all see. But man, this is, and we're going to continue to talk about this because this goes back to, we've already kind of touched on it. We've talked about, Quan Martin being benched. Wole, you brought up, the Frankie Louvu penalty, unnecessary roughness, or the which I don't know what it was. It was on Dak. Von Miller made a great play diminished because of his penalty, and we're going to talk a little bit more about just some of these players are not new to this system.
Yeah.
That we're talking about, and we're seeing a difference. We're just seeing a difference in some of the key contributors from last year. Great question by the great David Aldridge. And so here is a follow-up question from him as well. We got to keep pulling on this thread because something did go wrong. Let's be for real. It did, obviously.
Definitely went wrong.
On top of injuries, right? On top of being decimated by injuries, it doesn't help when player execution and some of the play calling isn't in. I've always said this too. It's hard to judge play calling when the player execution isn't there. So it's the hard balance, but you didn't do any favors if you're already decimated by injury. So let's check out this clip here as well.
And considering the way the season's gone, I guess I'm asking if a player consistently at this point in the season is still making those types of mistakes, whether they're physical or mental, consistently, how do you then evaluate that player in terms of wanting to bring them back next year?
Yeah, it's for sure even in season some to say, okay, does he sit some during that game? Is the solution fixed? But yeah, all of those factor into it. Yeah, you're 100% correct to say these are, teaching that we've seen and it's still not getting done versus, okay, getting beat on a technique where we can continue to work with that player. So both of those are part of the ongoing evaluations for all of us.
So I think it may have been Paul. I saw a question in the chat about accountability, and I didn't address it necessarily right then because I had a clip that referenced that. This is where we use our clues. Coach Quinn just told you they address it.
Yeah, Paul did. I got to find it.
They address it, and I'm aware of that. I'm not gonna say nothing. You know what I mean? And the challenge is they've made changes, right? If there's a player you haven't seen in a minute, it's because they had to make a change. If you saw a player that was not in certain series and all those things, even when you were like, where are they on third down? They should have been in there third down. Well, there's a very good reason why they weren't in there. And this goes back to what you were saying, Wole, which it was like, I would bench somebody, or they had to stay in the series. They actually do it. Do they do it for a whole? Well, they do it for a whole game. For some, you just might have missed it. But it happens. But Coach Quinn and his coaches, that they're not going to blast anybody. Now, I'm going to play this next clip, but because it was asked very directly by Ben Standick about Quan Martin, he asked, because like I said, they get held accountable. Coach Quinn just said that, and they got to go down the list of, is this an issue? But of course, DA is referencing and bringing them back. Because remember, I told y'all at the Minnesota, I said, I'm making my notes for next year. I mean, we got to, because this is what this is now. I mean, let's just all, this is evaluations for everybody. Don't care how long you've been here. Everyone is under evaluation and under that microscope. And they're being evaluated. I look at the snap counts. I know who's out there. I can pick. And as soon as I don't see somebody out there, I'm like, well, what?
Jordan getting less snap counts? I thought he's getting the same amount. He's
getting the same amount.
Yeah, Jordan getting no less. He's been out there.
He's been out there.
A lot, actually. A lot, right?
They're just using 3 linebacker sets like other teams.
Yeah, thought so.
And when you see a safety get benched or have to go out, which has been happening a lot, especially since Madrid.
Yeah.
58 be out there.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he'd be out there. There you go, Tosh. I know you're trying to do. You ain't slick. I'm good. Go. Just please play your clip.
Hey, Dan, just curious, Quan Martin, snaps have gone down in recent weeks, pretty low for him this last game. Just curious what led to that change in his role.
Yep. There was a busted assignment, Ben, that eliminated some of his reps. And so, as I was kind of referring to with David earlier, there had been a big mistake in the game regarding coverage. And so there were consequences to that. I'd like to also say, like, I love Quan and I believe in him. And that's not so unusual when a difficult play happens, you know, that you change and they have to come stand on the sideline for a moment, because my belief in him is sky high. But that would have been the reason behind the less playing time in that specific moment.
So he basically said they got to come stand on the sideline for a moment. So there has been moments, rightfully so, some moments, because when you go back and look, you be like, oh. So, yep. And this has happened quite a few. And I know that is a player that has come up in terms of, you know, just another player who was here last year. So, you know, all the mantras, you know, the expectation, you know, and this is another player who had a good year. And I'm so glad Coach Quinn was like, let me be clear. I love Quan. Me too. And
I mean, I had high hopes for Quan, so I'm not the one that, like, I ain't gonna act like I was the one. I was crapping on Quan off the rip. I like Quan coming in, but he's had a bad year, man. It is what it is. He's had a bad year.
And his numbers, to Ben's point, right? His numbers have consistently dropped. So who's getting those reps? So when people ask, "Oh, well, where's Jordan McGee?" Out there. Because somebody else is getting those already reps when he was already out there. But if you, so tight spot. But again, going back to evaluations, these are the use your clues moments.
Yeah, see, they best their safety, and it's a tough safety in the NFL draft. I just want y'all to know that. It's an awesome safety NFL draft.
It absolutely is. This wasn't the year.
There you go, Caleb Downs. Exactly.
Everybody says. And so when you got to do more because of player execution, that's.
Oh, you got Paul paying attention to snaps. He said Reeves went up 64%. Look at you.
Listen,
you got Paul up.
Fun.
You got Paul up.
Is fun. Wow, Revo's still making noise on special teams, might I add.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
He really is. Okay, but going into player execution, because I think this is all of these are very important points. Use your clues, because we got to figure. You know, the evaluation thing is a serious thing. It's an important thing. So I'm going into this clip now.
You had mentioned the execution, and I know, and I think it was after the game you mentioned the winning time moments not being there, much like they were last season. Has that been among the things that sort of surprised you this season, especially since a lot of the guys were here last year?
Yes. That execution of nailing exactly what to do in that space. It hasn't been as much of the, last play of the games, those type of scenarios, Nikki, I felt have been strong. It's the ones of third and fourth downs, some of the 2-minute ops to go. Like, there was a scenario in the game, you don't love to be down 10 points, but I was pleased with the execution of the offense. We were able to get a kick in, before 2 minutes and 10 seconds, to kick off to the other team, where we essentially have 4 timeouts. Well, the other part of that execution is getting the stops defensively to make them kick it again. So when I'm speaking of those, third and fourth downs have a big part of that. Sometimes just when the moments of the game change, when it's like, all right, we got the big run with Debo, and we're down inside, the 2 or 3 yard line. Like, we need points in that. So those moments, yes, of not being able to nail them and recognize this is that play, this is that moment that calls for the hyper focus. To not nail those in all 3 phases, that's been challenging for sure, and something that, like, I'm digging in as hard as we can, but that has to be much improved for damn sure.
So that was the last question of the presser today. I asked a couple questions, which we're going to get to those in a moment. We got 3 more clips. But I mean, it's what we've been talking about. Some of this that we're talking about is not the new people.
It's the same old people. It's the same. I mean, it's the folks from last year.
It's not the new people, and it's not like the old people. Like it's just been this laser focus for some people, or for some reason on like the old, like the age appropriate vets, right? And I'm like, you're missing what's happening in everyone's faces. This is not necessarily the older players that are showing not as much discipline as last year, right? These are the ready to rock, was ready to roll people that no one had any thought to say their performance would decline. Because there's no reason for your performance to decline, right? You can't lean on age in that regard.
No.
You can't lean on age. So it's like,
especially when it's mental. When it's mental,
right? Exactly. So it's like we can't lean on age there. Stop. Take the argument of age and stop, because some of these older folks are the ones making plays here down the stretch in December. And you're like, well, where's everybody else, right? You see it from the rookies in the second year and the age people everybody calling old. Somewhere it was like the middle of the pack. I don't know. It didn't resonate. It's a thing though. It's a thing. And I don't even know how to get into the I mean, I do know, I have some ideas how I'm going to, use my clues and really get into the research of that. But it's a problem. It's a thing. And I appreciated Nikki asking that question and the way that coach answered it, because I mean, he probably really doesn't know. Because it's probably like, what is this? Right? And going back to things that I've seen that I don't mind sharing, this is way earlier, and I don't say way earlier, but maybe middle of the road part of the season, where I definitely saw coach spending additional time with Quan. So that's why I'm like, no, and it's not people not just running wild. Everybody just no. But on game day, we're seeing a difference on game day, and I do not know what that is. So with that being said, younger guys versus the vets, y'all know what my opinion is on this. But I Coach Quinn said he's always been consistent on this. But hey, it's the end of the season. It's coming up on the season finale, so he's probably like, whatever. So he was kind of blunt, I felt like, in some areas with this one. So check this one out.
And then I just wanted to ask kind of more broadly, and we've asked you this earlier in the season about, balancing, like taking a look at younger guys versus more experienced guys and how you kind of try to do both. Does that calculus change at this point entering week 18? Are you at a point where you might give a bit of a longer leash, I guess, to some of the younger players where maybe you wouldn't have a month ago?
Yeah, I think when you earn more, that's fair, Tom, to say the space for more playing time, more opportunities to go, and featuring those guys in spaces. Sometimes it's not even as much the extended playing time as it is, they get their ops, whether it's a, part of a first part of a progression, featured in some certain down and distances. But that definitely, some extended looks could also be by design, if that makes sense. May not even be the volume of plays, but the design too.
So you all, I think Wole has been starring questions. Yeah. I'm going to play the last two clips are mine. They were my questions from today. And definitely drop in the chat some questions that you have for me. We're going to play these two clips. We're going to answer some questions, and then we're going to roll out because the season finale is going to be long. And Wole the heads up, like, well,
she did though. She gave a heads up.
How it normally rolls with the season finale is long because everybody's doing exit interviews. You're talking to everybody. And I love it. It's a lot. And then I really want to get into my injury impact analysis is a lot. And so and I'm trying to say, Oh, not. I mean, I think he said it. I think he said it's earned.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me because I know the roster so well that I'm like, well, there's young people out there. And then it's some of the young people that are out there are not doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm laughing at myself, but it's like, at what cost? Because playing is a privilege. I do agree with that. You can't keep playing with your playing time. Like you can't keep playing around with your playing time. If you want accountability, you just hey, I can't pick you because you're younger.
I think it needs to be. I think it's to be. Yeah. If you're good, like to your point, like it goes different, various ways with it, depending on what you're looking at it as a coach. Yeah. It depends. Like you can tell when a dude ain't good. Like let me just throw that out there. Some people aren't good. It is what it is. I'm not going to even get into like who I think ain't good or whatever. But I think people know when some of the guys that people throw out there, I'm like that person ain't good. All right, so there are levels of like. I'll give an example. It's a different sport. Me being a Lakers fan, growing up a Lakers fan. Like Kobe Bryant was on the bench.
Well, I mean, hey, this is what we were going to. This is what Darrell and I were going to. I was going to share earlier. I brought up Darrell. Okay. We were like, we're talking quarterbacks.
Okay.
But we started talking from a position group. Why? It was never a thing of play the younger people. Where did everybody get that?
No. It never been a thing. It was
never a thing.
Like, well, there's always this
like sports, like you and Wole, and you and I, we get this lane for very well for years, and there's even players in the league right now that you had to be leaps and bounds better.
Of course, that's the
thing.
The
vets consistently. Your age was never an excuse or reason or an explanation for why you got to play if you didn't earn that number one spot. Period. It just wasn't. So I'm like, where did this come from? Or is everybody just grasping at straws to be grasping at straws? Now, here's the reality. Even with Josh Connolly Jr., you want to know something? He earned that spot. They did not give him that because he was the first. No, I got proof. I know. He beat him. He earned it. And if he hadn't, they would never have started him. Trust me on that one. Trust me. Right? Yeah. So it's like, how you gonna beat this person? You know what I mean? When historically in sports, the rookie typically sat for a year or two. Mm-hmm. Jordan Love definitely sat. Patrick Mahomes definitely sat. I mean, I'm just giving examples.
Yeah. Depends on depending on
Jaden won. He won. Okay, yeah. He won. I mean, he got it right. Like they won, so you got it. But
you gotta. Let me talk with you. There's a super chat, so I want to make sure to put out a super chat. Super chat from Santiago. Appreciate it. This question for you. Not a fair question for you, but where do we start? Where do we start to fix this?
Is it starred?
Yeah. I mean, it's starred. It's a super chat.
I have thought for sure.
Okay, all right. For sure. I'll get to it. Okay, I'll get to it. Okay.
But it was just like, it's like play the other guys for what? Yeah, I would be like, why? For what? Not when you're seeing everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think the model is still the model. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, in our day jobs, a younger person can come into the job all day long and they can have amazing talent, but that don't mean they're taking my spot. What? How? You got to show consistency first. You know what I mean? And it's just and it's unfortunate too I'm gonna tell you what's more unfortunate, that I'm surprised that I'm not seeing more ruckus, if you will, from like the fan base on. It's, well, at least if you old, which I got a theory on that too. That's, you know, because you're around these people all the time. If you old, you got a reason. But if you're not old, then what's your reason? That's where the attention needs to be, because there's definitely some players that are underperforming and they're not old at all. And that needs to be addressed. And hold that thought when we talk about where to start. Now I'm going to play my questions. Hey there, Coach. When you take a look at the season, and last season, I know you talked about you wanted to build on that, and the complementary football. There were moments throughout the season where it's kind of like we all saw it, and I'm sure, of course, you did. Of course, when you went and looked back at the film, you saw it there as well. But what do you think? What happened in terms of the consistency of that complementary football? Do you think there were moments of it, but it seemed like it just didn't stick? So what do you think may have happened there?
Yeah, it's a valid, fair question, the ones that I've had lots of sleepless nights on. So it's definitely understandable. The consistency of those and executing those in those moments, we've missed them. And when you do, not like you're going to make every one of them. Like, I want to make sure I'm clear on that. You don't make every 2-point play. You don't make every 4th down chance, like no team does. But what you do want to do is make sure when those moments are there that you've done everything you can to put yourself into the right spot to go do that. And if you can put your head on the pillow saying, okay, we did all the right things. It didn't go our way. What I'd say I want to keep digging in on is to say, why the inconsistency? Do we need more reps at it? Do we need more time at it? Do we need more of the same people doing the same jobs over and over and over again? So some of that is a factor, the continuity, Candi, but other times it could be as simple as, okay, that was one concept and that's been caught up on. What's the new concept? What are the ways that you evolve as a team, as play callers? And so I think all of it is under review for me. If it was just one thing, for damn sure I would have put my finger on that. When it's a multitude of things and there's layers to it, you want to keep digging, and I'm into that space for sure.
So that's why I'm like, what was it? Because we saw moments. Eagles game, amazing special teams play. Cornerback Cam Madrano and Mikey Samerstill. Mikey Samerstill and Cam Madrano, right? Mikey makes an amazing play. Kane gets the recovers the football. The special teams play, right? We've seen complimentary football. We saw it. We've seen it. It doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. We even saw moments last season where the other team could go out there because they always deferred. So it wasn't like a new thing for the other team to go down the field and score. That wasn't new. That's not new to this season. Okay. That was happening last year too. But they just let the game go. They could get punched in the mouth. They punched back. They didn't do that this year. They didn't do that at all. And I'm going to play this last clip and see if there's any other questions for me. And this is on tackling versus takeaways. I had this question.
Okay.
And when it comes to tackling, sometimes it seems like is it tackling or is it the attempt for a takeaway? So it looks like someone may be trying to punch the ball out versus making the tackle. And so how do you find that balance between just kind of the art of punching the ball out to get a takeaway or to force a fumble there versus just making the tackle?
Yep. I wish I could say that was the case. It's not been the case as much as it may seem. It hasn't been as good rap and driving your feet through the contact as it is. I'm going to be reckless and go take my one chance at the ball. So the art of tackling is really about leverage, and it's owning that leverage. And if you stop your feet too early, you can lose it. If you get head up on somebody as opposed to maintaining a leverage with your shoulder, you can lose it. And so it's as much, Candi, of working and owning and maintaining that leverage as it is, going to try and take the ball away. That's a really important part for us of forcing fumbles, but not over tackling. So the ones that we've missed, I would say by large majority, have not been somebody was reckless punching at it as opposed to tackling. But when you see good tackling, it's the feet on contact. And I thought Bobby's games over the last couple of weeks, his tackling, you saw the striking and the feet on contact. That's what really strong tackling looks like. especially in the open field, Donna. I mean, not Candi, especially in the open field. That's the most challenging ones.
Thank you, Coach. So I felt like that was an important point because, and this is when I just watch any game where I see a lot of.
No, Washington does it a lot. No,
Washington does it all the time, right?
Yeah,
you're trying to get the ball, you swatting at the football, and you didn't miss it. You done ran past you.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the younger guys, everybody. You know, but it's like the takeaway culture of swat the ball out, do this, do that, and then you miss the freaking tackle. You done picked up an extra 15 yards. Okay. You try to make a play like you're in a video game. So it becomes, you really have to, and that's why I asked, because I'm like, is this like the thing, you know? And what's interesting for Coach Quinn to say, I wish that were the case, because what he's basically saying is they're not tackling well. They're bad at tackling. And I was like, ooh.
Let's see.
Which isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good at all.
So we got. Do you want? So you said you want to read the question? You want to hear the questions?
So
all right.
Let's get into the starred questions because that's for.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Santiago for you because he did have a super chat, so you can kind of dive into it. He said, "Not a fair question, but for you, but where do we start to fix this whole thing? Where does it start?"
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be digging. First and foremost, I'm digging into these injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm digging into these injuries, because that was abnormal. Injuries happen, but I think the rate and just some of the, you know, or just the overall like physicality of it all. Like, is it more of just like are you just throwing your body out there? Like, what's happening? So I'm digging into that, but I'm also, that's one area. And all of these things happen all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hope people know, like, scouting and evaluations happen all year long. They don't stop. So that's first and foremost. I think they have excellent data points.
Mm-hmm.
They know what this thing is like when you up. They know what this thing is like when you're down. And I tell people all the time, in any relationship, you need to know what it's like when you're happy, and you need to know what it's like when you're sad. That's how you know what you really need. And I think from that perspective, it's if they're missing tackles, if that is a key part of your program, what are the key pieces of your program? Let's use tackles. Let's use fumbles. Let's use speed. Let's use, you know, if that is something that is happening, let's use intellect. If you feel like they're not watching enough film, so they're not familiar with their coverages and what they should be doing, these are people you need to let go. Right? You need to look at the core principles of your program. And whoever does not fit that, you got to send them on their way. Whoever could potentially still fit that, maybe you give them a shot for training camp, but you got to bring in people that fit the key fundamentals of your program. What is it? What does this need to be on? Fast, physical, but hey, what they're not saying too, which I can see, there's a high level of intellect that needs to go into this. Because they'll just be running around and missing people. Okay, you're fast and you're physical, but you're not being smart. You're not showing discipline, right? That's a part of this. So I would definitely dive deep into the injuries. I'm definitely going to be like, okay, I'm clear. This is what my program needs to be about. And I need to, Adam, Lance, help me get them in here, right? And then the next part is strategy. You need to be able to do the best that you can with a defensive strategy that can try to answer the mail for these high-powered offenses. Because I'm going to use the Bears as an example. They got like 32 takeaways, but you're still kind of down at the bottom of the pile in total defense.
Mm-hmm.
So what is important to you, right? What is it? And you might have felt like you had some of that, but the challenge is your pass rush went down in the first 7 weeks of the season. And Dietrich Wise, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, and Dorrance Armstrong. They did the best that they could, but you lost your pass rush the first. That's why I'm like, these injuries need to be studied.
No,
but I think what is your program? Get those folks that can get down with your program, be intentional about the things that you're teaching in practice over and over and over again, and then strategy. Get some help on defense from a coaching strategist, advisory perspective that can help you get ready for. Those are my top three, all happening at the same time. Because when you look at the injury impact analysis piece of this, Cliff get a lot of he get a lot of passes this season. He get a lot of passes. He gets some passes. I still stand on my 3 games, but he definitely gets some passes because of the impact of the injuries that happen on the offensive side of the ball. And everybody knows, and this is across the league, no doubt about it. When your starting quarterback goes down, typically your season does too. When you don't have that consistency at what your program is, the key principles of your program, and they're in year 2 of a recalibration. But again, a very good year, a very bad year. You have enough data now to know exactly who you want to be when you grow up, and that's got to show face in year 3.
Love it. What another question we got here? Let's go these questions.
I hope I answered your question, Santiago.
Oh yeah, you always do. Santiago is. What do we got here from Joe? I mean, it's an older question, but I'll put it up in here. I'll put it here. Will Groom says, "It took forever. I still don't know if we have an identity as a team. Here we are, the last week of the season, talking about winning time moments. What did they learn in training camp?"
I mean, it's just a message that they reiterate.
Okay.
Because they miss it. They've been missing it all season, right? I mean, they don't stop. They've been talking about winning time moments. Those were the things that were coming up. This goes back to New England preseason. I just remember it distinctly. Coach Quinn was so angry after that preseason game because none of the identity was there. They were missing. None of the identity was there. And everybody, even the starters, everybody was quiet. And I think you and I did a show or something where I was like, I wonder how much of this is like,
Yeah, we did a use on AB, Auburn, and everything. We're talking about it. Yeah, we talking about it all.
They getting this mess from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't even look like who they were last year. And it stayed. It stayed. But you got enough data on who's here. Right? Who should have got that? And they talk about winning time moments. They're not going to stop. They didn't just start. They've been talking about that. And it was because it was something that they mastered in year 1. They didn't do it this year. And they had opportunities.
We got a question from Taj. Can we say consistency when it's only been 2 years? Don't most players need at least 3 years to be evaluated?
Yeah, I think you can always say consistency, right? Because you could be consistently good and you could be consistently bad too, right? But the evaluation happens all the time. I'm still believing after year 2, you still got enough data to be able to establish what your program is going to be, what this is, what your system is. I think you got enough. I do. I mean, and it's just based on how bad it's been. You know what it looks like good, great, even. You know what it looks like bad. Now, here's the other thing. I'm going to go back to this good to great. Here's something that I think people don't want to accept. In year 1, they won 5 close games.
So last year. Yeah.
If they had lost those games, that takes you down to 7 games won. Maybe.
Trying to say that they're lucky? They're trying to say they're lucky?
Absolutely. It went their way, which a lot of times games do.
Yeah.
But you wasn't like smacking everybody in the mouth. There might have been some truth to those 5 games that were close. Right? And so that's kind of but again, we're gonna go with what the record was. But you still got enough data. And with rookies, you still, you could, year 3 is typically okay. Now is what you know.
That's your year. Year 3 is supposed to be the year.
That's for sure. That's what you know. Because I would go back to use, like, we could use Jaden in year 2. Hey, he's been injured most of the season. You can still evaluate based on the games he did play. You absolutely still evaluate. But okay, Mikey Samerstill, you got to evaluate, but that can also be position driven.
Yeah.
For him. It's a lot of different scenarios there. And things change. Things change for sure. I thought Javonte, I think, we don't talk much about Javonte because he got hurt. He tore his pec in week 4. But Javonte was trending up when Dietrich got hurt.
Wow. I liked him. I liked him his rookie year, though. I liked him a lot, actually.
Absolutely.
I liked him a lot.
He came into the fold and he was trending up, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
So there's some injuries that have come into play at certain parts of folks' kind of trajectory here. But again, I think all of this stress on young guys that they drafted versus the older veterans, and I think there's a group of people that I'm like, wait, everybody, these folks did not perform accordingly. I'm not certain why there's not more conversations about them.
We got George said it took an injury for Bill and Sennett to get any burn. Should that have been the case?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I mean, why wouldn't it have been? And this goes back to starter versus depth. You need to have depth. One of the issues was, what did I first say in preseason? I sure hope nobody gets hurt. Now, I love Bill. I love Ben Sennett. I love them both. Okay. But to say just pass the ball on the Bill before Austin Eckler, no, I'm not going to say that just because I'm not going to say that. He wouldn't say that, right? But you knew he was going to get burned at some point. You knew he was. And that's absolutely should have been the case. This becomes now the depth conversation. You want to have people you can go to. Running back by committee, that was fantastic. Thank you. Very good. Could you imagine if it was only one person in this kind of season? I think they should have used them all more, though. Even when you say, I guess Ben Sennett versus a John Bates versus a Colson Yankoff versus a Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz will potentially be a Hall of Famer one day. Absolutely. You're going to have to wait, Ben. Learn, because your time is coming, young man. And when it does, you better blow it out of the water. That's the challenge. Right. So when folks aren't blowing it out of the water, then it's like, well, what have they been doing? This is why they had to wait.
We got
all the time they need to get ready so that when they in there, they hit it. They don't miss the mark. The challenge is once they get in there, because they're practicing all the time, you guys. They're practicing all the time to get reps all the time. You might not see them in game, but that's why I might be sitting back like, oh, it took about time for them to do this in a game, because you have to maximize your moments, every single moment. And really, there's no excuse for them not to.
We got a question from Santiago. He says, yes, why is our tackling so bad this year? I see one player not wrapping up in particular.
That's why I asked the question, because I'm trying to make it make sense. Just like the week or so ago when I was, and Coach was like, are you asking about the first series? Yes, because I'm trying not to, ruffle too many feathers, publicly. And we only got a short period of time in press conferences. But I'm like, are there the analytics? Because I'm trying to make sense of why you get so pass happy at the goal line, run the football. Maybe they're using analytics. Maybe I don't know the answers to this. Let me try to, use my clues and make sure I'm asking the right questions when given the opportunity. So that's why I asked the question about the term. Are they trying to do a takeaway? Is that? And he corrected me. He's like, I wish that were the case. Well, dang, Coach. Because I'm trying to give him a reason. I'm trying to find a reason for why it's so bad. But that's why I made the comment of earlier to Santiago's question, which was, you can determine what you want your program to be. And if tackling is key, that's something, something that you really, really, really want, you need to go get people to do it.
We got another question. Off to another world 7434. Do you think that players is scared to get fined or suspended? Do you think
With
players
tackling? Maybe. I mean, the thing with Frankie happening this season with the hip drop tackles, that could have, but I there's a way to do it cleanly.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Quinn brought up Bobby Wagner. Y'all talk about the man all day long. He can tackle. If he get there, you're going down. And he's not getting fined. I think he's gotten one. I mean, not to knock on wood, but I think he's gotten one penalty all year. It was week 1, and I think they said he got a roughing the passer on Russell Wilson, but he didn't get a penalty all last year. He didn't get one this year. You want to know why he's there? To teach them how to tackle and to play. The challenge is, why isn't it resonating? Other great things that he teaches resonates, because I can see that, but some of that on the field stuff, it doesn't.
We got a question from Taj. Says, is that a DQ issue or Cliff? And was it because alike wasn't always running the right routes? What? Taj, send me something else. Send me another question. Clear this up for me real quick, bro. Yeah, I can't. I don't get what that one means. Taj, yes, send that out to me again. But yeah, I feel like tackling is definitely an issue. That's been an issue. That was an issue in preseason, though. I'm not gonna hold you. Yes, it's been a constant issue. So
it was some of these things we saw tackling was an issue. We might have saw some things with Frankie being a little undisciplined was an issue. We knew that the kicking situation was an issue.
Shout out to my man Jake Moody too.
Issue.
Jake Moody. Shout out to Jake Moody too. Shout out to Jake Moody. Jake's been fine. Thank you, Jake. You've been fine, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Jake Moody, man. You've been fine, bro. I'm not going to say about, somebody who they kept in the building for a long time.
Too long.
Oh, that was a side comment. Oh, my bad. All right, thank you. Oh, that was a side convo between y'all. All right, got you. All right, appreciate it. We got, some fans are running Wag out of the door, calling him slow. Top tackler in the league this year. Crazy, ain't it?
It is crazy. I agree with this. Because it's like there are some major issues. He's not one. Like, if you want to talk bad about something, all of these missed tackles, go off about that because it's bad.
No, definitely
go
bad.
Off. The unnecessary penalties, especially on third down to extend drives, go off about that. Those two things are so difficult. If you want to point at coaching, well, it's difficult when perhaps the play was designed to do that. They had every intention on doing that, but they can't get off the field or they can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's dicey. It's hard. That doesn't mean, because a multitude of things can be true. But where I'm seeing there be an emphasis, I'm confused on. I'm like, nobody's screaming about these missed tackles. Everybody want to talk about somebody's age. But he's the only person that's tackling people out there. I think I said that on the show. Yeah. I said he probably didn't have to go catch somebody if somebody would have tackled him.
Yeah.
No, he's not supposed to do that. But guess who? I guess he has to, because nobody else did.
Yeah, for me, I do have a question for you, because I do have a question, actually. Mm-hmm. Donovan Edwards, he's still on the practice squad?
Yeah, he is.
Can we call him up, man?
I'll be like,
Can we call him up, man? I'm just saying, because it's Trace Edmonds. Edmonds is right. Chase Edmonds was on the active squad. He was returning kicks last.
Him and Chris Moore.
Can we Call up Donovan. Jeez, man. I want to see Donovan Edwards play bad, man. I'm like, give me some of the last game of the season and want to watch the game. I'm gonna lie to y'all. This ain't really attractive for me to watch.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are playing for seeding, maybe.
I heard they really might not even play their players.
But I don't even think they care. I mean, like the Chargers don't. You know what I mean? There's teams that are like win.
Seeding, like for them, seeding ain't even that seeding is not even important for them.
I think there's some teams. I'm just only like I'm saying some, but there's only like one that I know of right now, which is the Chargers, who are like sitting their quarterback. You know what I mean? And so I think they might be playing for. I mean, you would be surprised. Nick Sirianni, hey man, look.
The second seed. How can you? How many games they lost?
I think they
lost 5 games. You lost 5 games, right? They lost 5 games.
I don't know.
They lost 5
no, because they ended up winning yesterday. So
they got 5 losses. The Eagles got like 5 losses this year, I think. Right? I hope I'm correct. I think.
I mean, they. Here's one thing I learned last year.
Yeah, they got 5 losses.
Yeah, they got 5, right? I mean, oh no, they won. Right. They got.
Oh, Chicago. They need Chicago to lose. Who's Chicago playing? Chicago. It depends who Chicago playing. Chicago playing an easy team. Y'all not gonna get it. Don't matter. But Chicago playing the Lions. Yeah, the Lions may quit on y'all. Yeah, y'all may not even get it. Don't worry about it.
Well, remember last year? Well, here's what I've learned.
Yeah,
they care about seeding.
Who the Eagles care about seeding? The Eagles do care about
everybody. I mean, unless
the Rams don't. The Rams don't be caring about seeding. I've seen it. The Rams they'll rest their players the last game of the year. I've seen the Rams.
Oh well, they made. I think the Chargers. Well, I think too. What here's a little tidbit. It's because of the time zone.
Yeah, that's the Chargers situation different.
Where they'll right. So the Rams and the Chargers, though, you know what I mean. You might see Seattle. No, because Seattle got to play for the one.
They got to win. They got to win.
So Seattle.
Them and San Fran are playing for the division. They playing for the division.
See, but I think we'll find out soon enough. Nick Sirianni care about it.
Rams should care
about it. and you hey, I mean, last year they didn't care. And I think they wish they did.
Either way, you hosted, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, a second in today's NFL, a second and third seed. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, because you don't get a bye. You don't get a bye anymore. So it's not like
they some of these teams be caring. They be very, very strategic.
Like, depending on
last year, I mean, but it was like fun and it was like learning.
Yeah.
Because remember the Commanders. To get the 6th seed, Chicago had to beat Green Bay, which they did, and they had to beat.
Oh, you said that.
So
I get
everybody.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. I thought they were playing. I mean, that's what
they care. They care. I mean, the Eagles do care. He does care, though. I did.
Get your mind right. It's a 4:25 game. They care.
Yeah. No, he cares.
If it would have made it 1 o'clock, you would have known they wouldn't care. But
no, he cares. I forgot home. He cares. It's Sirianni. He cares. They're right. He does care. He's that type of person.
Yeah.
The road goes through Seattle. I'm saying, like, you don't. I'm really like you're going to try to avoid certain teams because it's not like 2 teams get a bye. 1 team gets a bye. And the Eagles aren't injury riddled, so they can play. They can actually play. They can play. And Philly won the Super Bowl in 2024 with the second seed. Isn't that
crazy, right? Like I think both conference 1 seeds are out of the playoffs.
Yeah, but they didn't. The
one and Detroit was the number 1.
Yeah, Detroit was the 1 seed. Yeah, but you had to win. I get it. No, I understand because the 1 seed, so you had to go through Philly. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. So it would be important to Sirianni. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because that definitely. I mean. Yeah, because y'all got lucky by playing us instead of the Eagles. The Detroit, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all got lucky by playing us instead of Detroit. I won't even hold you. Won't even hold you.
Yeah, I mean,
I won't even hold you.
It's gonna be. I don't know. It's just I learned a lot, and one day maybe, and while we're still on, and we can wrap this up. Do you all watch other teams play? Like, do you watch other games? I watch other games all the time.
Oh, I got to. I got fantasy football, so I appreciate everybody.
So I watch other games. I love, one thing that I did appreciate, even though they probably won't do that anymore, is all the primetime games and the other games that the Commanders had because I was able to watch so many other games during the season. It wasn't like games were on at the same time or like all the, and so. And that's why I want people to watch other games because I'll be like this thing about age. You know how old these people be playing? on other teams. Like they play, they do 33 linebacker sets. Everybody, so this
it's
is
just
not new.
So it depends on some of the like
It's
the. It just depends.
like,
It depends.
Gotta stop. If
Because
you let other teams play, then some of the stuff you're seeing is not.
It just depends on what you watching. There's a lot of about which teams you playing defensively, offensively. It depends on who's playing and what their record is too. A lot of that plays a part to a lot of.
And that was why I was also encouraging, for the play for draft picks crowd. Where they do that at? They don't do that.
Well, this is what I would say about the play for draft picks thing. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't say it because Washington are gonna solve their problem for me. Let me be real with y'all. I don't even care. They're bad enough. They're gonna solve their problem regardless. What I mean by that is they're gonna lose regardless. So they're gonna get you your draft pick.
But
they don't gotta bench. Let me be real with you. They don't gotta bench anybody. Well, the Vegas, like, it depends if you value somebody. Like Vegas bench basically told Crosby, well, you ain't playing no more, bro.
Well, he's hurt.
He's been playing with the same injury. He could have played.
Yeah, but he
could have played. He could have played. He's been playing 14. He could have played. They were like, "Go, bro, you done." He's mad
about Brian Flores. He's going to get a head coaching job.
No, let me say this about Brian Flores. He better get a head coaching job.
Yeah,
there's no. He better get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
If he leaves, he better not. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To that point, as great as that defense is and played, they at home.
Yeah, they're home. Yeah.
So it's just a lot of
injuries hit them to 2 points. Injuries hit them too.
But that's my point. They had their quarterback went down because listen, you put that team and I don't know why they let Sam Darnold leave, but I guess look at what Sam Darnold is doing in Seattle. You know what I mean? Who would have thought it? But I'm just
JJ will be fine.
It's just you. The themes and the things are real.
Mad. Yeah, he's mad about that.
Yeah, he was very. But that's my point. Like you can't
Max is mad.
These people. You know what I mean? They don't do that. It's just not real. It's not real, everybody. It's not real. That's like telling Myles Garrett, don't try to get the NFL sack record. And it didn't matter that if they beat. It doesn't matter to them at all if they beat the Steelers, right? It's just a bragging rights, and it helped the Ravens, but nobody cares.
Yeah, he's super big, petty. Not like look, man. If I'm him, I'm standing on business. If I'm him, I'm standing on business. I'm not leaving Minnesota to be a DC somewhere else. If I'm leaving, I'm leaving. I'm going to be a head coach. I'm not. For him to have that type of view of suing the league about their, like, you gotta know what he stand on. Like, he ain't going to play your game. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if you ain't hire him a head coach, he ain't leaving Minnesota. Like, that's how I see what time he on. He ain't that person.
Yeah. He ain't like O'Connell on the other side of the football.
No, he good.
He don't go anywhere.
Yeah. He know what he like. He a smart dude.
That is a very nice stadium. I wouldn't leave. It's cold. I didn't like.
Well,
that
just because he stands on business, like, to your point, like, he stands on business. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different. Like, if you a dude that's gonna sell, you're gonna sue the owners for what they did to you, and then, like, you not gonna play their game and say, "Oh, if I go here, I got a better chance." Nah, not doing that. He stands on. You ain't gonna hire him as what he's done to the game. To your point, Ken, like, he should be a head coach. And he ain't going, like, go to another job to be a defense coordinator. Like,
and let me be clear, Paul. Yeah, the Browns care. That's why I don't understand why people be talking about these people go play for draft picks. Nobody.
But I'll say this, like, again. But I've always said this: the Browns. It's different. This is what my thought process with that. Like, when you're already a good defense, because the Browns are a good defense, they're gonna play hard regardless. That's the thing. Like, a bad defense though is a little. A good defense is going to play hard regardless.
Well, that's why it's like, and I think it might have been, who is T Black? I'm not sure.
That's my man Todd.
Maybe earlier. Okay, Todd was saying earlier when he was, I guess they were debating or talking in the chat, not separate from this.
Yeah,
was about the young guys versus the older guys. They don't play the young guys. You got to pick a data point or an assumption that sticks, right? So we done brought up Minnesota in their defense. You just brought up the Browns. They got Myles Garrett. They're very good. This is very good.
Dominant. Like, that's the best player. That's probably the best player in the league.
They consistently lose
because their offense is trash.
Consistently lose because the offense is not good and they cannot get right at where quarterback.
Yeah.
So you can have a good defense and still have the same record, still be picking in the top 10.
Yeah.
It is almost like you got to have, like, what's the data points you got to have? Good health.
Yeah.
And your strength of schedule got to be in your favor.
Yeah, because even the Bengals, even they lost Joe Burrow, but they were still able to score a lot of points. Their defense was historically bad though, so you can go any which way.
So then they end up being the same. But losing Joe Burrow alters their whole entire life.
Well, their whole life, yeah, that's
their whole life be over. Everything they do in Cincinnati depends on the health of one player, and that is Joe Burrow. That's it.
Yeah.
And they got all them other good players. They got Trey Hendrickson. They got all of this stuff.
Yeah, he's
all of these great things. They spent all of this money, yet their success rests on one player. So that's why I asked, are you all watching other games? Is everybody watching other stuff? Because if you do, then some of the arguments, some of the assumptions that even I had, they don't stick. They don't stick.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
And I think Taj then asked the question about, can Dan Quinn hire outside of his coaching tree? Here's what I'll say about that. Cliff Kingsbury was not in his coaching tree.
I think some defense. I know what he's talking about. He wants defense.
Right, but I'm talking about in general.
Okay.
So let that be use your clues as to yes.
He's interesting. I know why he asked that question though, to be real with you, because that's when he was a head coach. Like he did hire outside and he's done it before. Offensively is different for me with him, because offensively he's a defensive coach, so he's gonna go outside of a Seattle coaching tree. That's like a thing, like because he fired I forgot who his first offensive coordinator was before he got Kyle. Then he hired Kyle. They hired Kyle. So I don't know defensively. But I think defensively was a whole different beast, because that's something that he.
Let's
because he brought in, because defensively he keeps the guys who run his system typically.
So what was interesting when I went back, because I knew, but it was just interesting hearing Matt Ryan say it on the TV broadcast when I watched the TV broadcast after the game of last week. DQ took over the defensive coordinator responsibilities
in Atlanta
in 2016.
With Atlanta, yeah.
He could take it over and tell somebody to go.
So could he change? I guess the question is, could he change it? Yeah. Could he bring somebody outside?
He could. I honestly think.
Or would he just like stay as the defensive coordinator? Would he?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but I'm going to stand on my opinion based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah, of course.
Is that he had that strategic, that assistant, that preparation, that schematic, just overall preparation, and then the speed at which they adjust. He needs some other help there.
Yeah, I got you.
You understand? He needs some other help there. The speed at which the adjustments are made, as well as just the overall preparation for the opponent. Because I think he can do it. It's just a lot. But at the same token, hey, this might have been on offense, but two head coaches just showed you last night. They stand in the weeds.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson is staying in the weeds. Kyle Shanahan staying in the weeds.
Always, though. Kyle's always been that way, man.
McVay, Kevin O'Connell. You see Liam Cohen do it. Mike McDonald does it. They stay in the weeds. When it's their bag, we will get the right help up in here.
But it's their bag.
Giving it away.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Reid technically never did. I know they had somebody else was offensive coordinator. We know they had the title, but Andy Reid never really.
Oh, I know Andy Reid is. Oh, it's Andy Reid's. It's Andy Reid.
Exactly.
Nah, exactly. No. I totally agree. When you're good at when you're really good at something, like you're the savant of what you do, you don't really give that up.
You don't give it up.
No, you don't give that up. Nah, I agree with that.
Give it up.
Like Bill Belichick, it took Bill Belichick a minute to even teach other folks. That's his bag, though.
Because
that's his bag. Yeah.
It's difficult.
Because people can't do what you do. That's just what it is. People can't do what you do. That's what it is. That's what it is.
But it's you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, DQ absolutely has a bag. He's a really good defensive coordinator. He understands personnel and he tries to do his best with personnel groupings. I think where things are maybe getting away from him currently is the speed at which adjustments are being made in game. That's where he's getting outclassed.
And you got
to doesn't know, but if you got people and you trying to make adjustments, this speed thing, these adjustments thing, and they did a master class on it last night. They did a master class. I mean, it was beautiful because once you know what's happening in the moment, you like, ooh, oh my gosh, I cannot believe they're doing this, because you get familiar. And then, of course, once you get to know people in the league, you like, well, shoot, you know, what are the things to look out for? Those are the things. You got to adjust. You got to adjust in the moment. Now, here's the other challenge. You saw them do it faster last year when they were healthy and the player execution was leaps and bounds better. You saw them do it. It's not that they can't. It fell apart when the injury started, which isn't good. Let me be clear. It's not good, but you saw them do it. It so much of the stuff that everybody's upset about this year is not like you never saw it before. You know what I mean? That's why, at least for me, it's the areas in which they took a nosedive that I'm like, that ain't good. So I think they'll be fine.
We will see. We gotta close this show out. But hey, Candi, before we close this show out, lead us here with some last thoughts, some awesome facts, and let the people be positive going into, like,
you gotta be positive. I mean,
going into this last game.
I have the injury impact analysis, which is going to check a lot of attitudes. Because that injury impact analysis, I was like, ooh. And so, what is included in the injury impact analysis is it's pretty straightforward. It's just the players the impact of the players that were injured, right? Like, what impact does that player have on the overall success of the team? And also, it can break down when they got injured as well. Right? So the games that they actually missed. So it's hard to really do an injury impact analysis like this, because some people might say, oh, well, you had this many people missing. It's the type of injury, it's the how many players were missed, the games that they missed, and just like your opponent. It's a ton of different data points that is like, when you really look at it, you will be like, well, how are they going to beat them anyway? Now, I'm going to stick to those 3 games. I'm not letting them go. 3 games for sure that I feel like they gave away. And that was Chicago. That was player execution, though. That was player execution, which is too bad. Kansas City, I think the things been done differently there. They could have won that. In Miami, in Madrid. Those 3, I'm like, even with the injuries, I still, they still wouldn't have made the playoffs, let me be clear. But those 3, which still puts you at 7 versus 4 wins on the season. And I mean, of course, a couple of us, you could be like, if thens, this, that, and the third. But without the if thens, I think those are the 3 that they left out there for sure. So they could have ended up with 7. Of course, there's last Thursday could be debated. Eagles could have been debated, but I'd just rather not, because I'm like,
Broncos game could have been debated. The Broncos game was definitely debated.
Could have been debated. But for sure, those 3, when I went back and looked at it, looked at the numbers, looked at the stats, looked at everything, and I was just like, this was a matter of a decision here, decision there, or just better handling of the football. Miami, player execution, unfortunately, there as well. Where it's like, all things considered, you could have came away with those 3 games, and that would have gave you 7 versus 4. Again, I still with the injuries, I don't think they would have made the playoffs. No,
I don't think so either.
And it's no. And so, but at any rate, yes, the injury impact analysis got me all the way together. Because I mean, I'm gonna go by the eye test, I'm gonna do all those things, but when you really understand the impact of the players that were injured. And also in a reverse, right? You look at those that didn't really that had low impact due to injuries. There's 5 teams. I probably don't have to tell you who those 5 are, but there's 5 teams, and all 5 of those teams that didn't really have an impact. The Eagles are one of them. They're all in the playoffs. Eagles are one. Seattle's another. It's 3 others. It's a couple. So it's like, yeah, well, hey, the Commanders definitely boded well off a healthy season and a quarterback that started every game.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah, it was different. Last year was definitely a special year. So, but yeah, I don't got nothing else to add.
Yeah, I don't have nothing else to add. I mean, let's all go back to the, time on task was a real thing too.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to May, not having Terry hurt.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. A lot of it. Injuries. There's a lot. There's some things they're gonna have to figure out in the offseason to make sure this doesn't happen again. So.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I don't know how they're gonna, injury because they didn't have him, but I don't know. But again, that's where I end up being nosy, right? And I go to other, with other teams and be like, y'all dealt with this, y'all dealing with this. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Kansas City has kind of seen their demise, right? And now with Patrick Mahomes' injury, it's gonna be really interesting to see how they bounce back, if they bounce back, and what happens. So, I mean, and if there is some staff change news, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's gonna be anything earth shattering or something that anybody already doesn't know. You know what I mean? And it, because at this point, I'm just from the show me state. I don't even care for real. Like, I mean, I think I'm a little bit more because diving into these numbers made me look at this a whole boatload different. I am concerned about player execution and changes that are made to the roster. That I am concerned about. Very concerned.
Well, we'll find out. We'll see. I think it's a good place to end it.
Yep, because it's gonna be a long off season.
Yeah, we got a long show next week, so we can end this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be long.
It's good, and I'm forward. I'm ready for the smoke.
I might be like, we gotta do part 2, Wole, because this is not gonna end. This is not gonna end.
All right, I'm ready for that smoke. I'm prepared for that smoke.
I'm already nervous. I look at my list, all my notes.
Paul's a great job, and I got some number. I got some numbers at the end of the year also. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up.
Thank you. So we'll see you, Paul. Check the injury impact analysis. That is gonna probably hurt your feelings because it hurt mine. It made me realize that some of my viewpoints were flawed. On one side of the football is what I'll say.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
Yep. So, I mean, which is fine because that's what this is about. I like to be smart, so let me be smart.
Facts.
But facts, not true. Stay tuned in because it is going to be a long off season anyway, and there are a lot of things to discuss. And of course, I'm out in the streets being nosy. I want to know what everybody else is doing too. And I will tell y'all, my motto is Detroit and Minnesota. So tell them I'm being nosy because I am.
All right, y'all.
Well, all right, y'all. Have a good night, and we will see you guys again soon.
Monday, right?
Monday. Monday.
All right.